I'm an artist living in Eugene, Oregon, and I'm the featured artist the month of August for New Zone Art Gallery, which is a collective gallery of which I'm a member. And as a featured artist, I get this big, beautiful wall to put my paintings on. Now, most of these, I've been painting and doing art most of my life. And most recently, I've been oil painting. These are almost all oil paintings. Sometimes I do a little acrylic or mixed media or add some metal or carving. And most of these pieces, as I mentioned, were done in the last 5 years or finished in the last 5 years. Some of them were done much earlier. So, I paint mostly for myself. It's healing for me to paint. And that has always driven me, no matter what the results are. And lately, I have been taking a lot of cues from what's going on in the world. For instance, this piece behind me, I call it Listen to Her. And it was my way of talking about the Me Too movement, pretty much, or being a woman in this culture and some of what that means and my own experiences and what was happening in the larger culture all over the world, really. So I do pay attention to what's going on in the world, and I react to it. My work is not terribly representational, but it's more about feeling and experiences and trying to put other dimensions onto a two-dimensional surface. Just to expand on that just a little bit more is that I tell people, you know, if it's not representational art, just go look at it and see how you feel. That's what it's about. It's going to feel differently to every person that looks at my work. Maybe some people will really feel awful, I don't know, but that's important to just experience the work, any kind of more abstract art. According to my philosophy of art and art in the culture, I believe that everyone should be able to afford original art. So I do a lot of smalls and don't charge very much for them. So somebody could take an original painting home rather than a print. They could actually have an original. Now these are not going to be as elaborate, but it fulfills something in me, and people seem to enjoy them. So as I was saying, I do respond to the world in many ways, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and that's the inspiration for a lot of my work. Just to point out a few pieces, these are goddess pieces here, and this big one, the 6-foot-long one, it was challenging for me, but I wanted to express something about what's going on just in the world, and to bring some spirit into the mix. The green goddess figure, like a green Tara from Tibet. She wasn't my inspiration, but that would be an example. And then in the womb, I wanted to say something about the racial injustice and unrest and things we have never resolved as human beings on the planet here. So she's birthing three babies of different colors, a black, a brown, and a white. And I realize there's more variations in race, but that was a simplistic way to express, and then just the elements of the earth. And the triptych above her was inspired, again, by a goddess figure in nature, and maybe there's a play on the tree of life, with the trees on each side, and the pears, which are copper rather than apples, actually. So I like to play with images and mythology and religion as well. I did a triptych, which this one was part of, and it was about a friend of mine had breast cancer. I had several friends that were diagnosed with breast cancer at the time, and I just felt like doing something about women and breasts and health, and I don't know, I did them. This is one of them. And the one above it also was a little play on the racial unrest and Black Lives Matter and injustice. And I was listening to the radio, and they mentioned the Black Swan period. And it usually refers to a financial situation, but this was in reference to, events that are out of our control. We don't know they're coming, and then they're upon us. And so Black Swan as I said, usually refers to an economic situation, but it could be expanded upon. And I felt like it really named something about everything that's going on. We've got, extreme climate change. We've got, racial unrest. We've got a pandemic. And people can make up whatever stories they want about all of those situations, but they're happening. They're affecting us every day, and they're part of our world reality. So I put in the Black Swan and tried to express a little bit of the energy that's coming out, that's just going to the streets and going into legislation and going into our hearts, hopefully, so that there's some kind of, a little bit of consciousness change that will help us see that we're all connected. So that was that. So each piece has something, I'm responding to my world. And somebody will look at it and probably see something totally different. But I would like to evoke some kind of feeling in people that maybe is positive often, or hopeful. I'm hoping for that. I can't guarantee it, but that's my hope. As an artist in the world, there must be some good reason I'm doing this besides just for me. So this show is a featured artist show for August, which means it's showing from the August 7th, which was our opening, which would normally be first Friday, but we're not really doing that locally right now because of COVID. But we had an opening, and the show will be up at least through the 28th, I believe, of August. New Zone Art Gallery is at 27 West 7th, right across from the Holt Center in Eugene, Oregon. The hours, at least the month of August, are every day from 12 to 6 p.m. And starting in September, we'll take Mondays off, and so it'll be Tuesday through Sunday. So we invite everyone to come and take a look. We're also showing the Salon de Refusé, and the spotlight artist, Barbara Bacalarova, I believe. Don't quote me on that one. I believe that. She's a photographer, and you'll get to see her work as well. So come on in, there's plenty of room. It's not really crowded. Masks are required, of course, and it's a pretty safe indoor space to come and hang out. So come see the rest of the show and view my work if you have time. And thank you. Thanks for listening. Well,